With all that being said, though, we're going to be bringing in Saturation from Divine Ascension Obsidian to give us his take on how that game just went so well. Saturation, I want to be the first to congratulate you on an absolute stunning set of victories.
Thank you, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, well, we're doing great, especially after watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of got thrown into here. I think our top laner fell asleep and we couldn't get in contact, so I just said I'd fill in for top tonight. I haven't played top in, I think, 3 years, but I guess it went pretty well, so I was pretty happy with how it turned out.
I mean, Saturation, I think went well is a bold understatement. From the Darius in game 1 to the Urgot game 2, the pressure applied into this lane was just incredible. Goldfan did not have the opportunity to play this one out. So, like you said, 3 years not playing the role. What's the mindset going into game 1 off that?
I used to actually play Darius a lot a few seasons back, and when I saw Shen, the goal was just to like put a lot of heavy pressure on Shen so he wasn't able to make plays around the map. So that was kind of the goal, and it worked well. Like, he really couldn't get any ults off and was pretty useless, so I think it worked pretty well that game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The second game, I was just playing weak side, so I was just trying to farm and play safe while my teammate plays elsewhere. So actually not dying to the gank level 3 was like pretty big, and their jungler fell behind while we made plays, so I think our game plan worked for both games.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely big indeed. You managed to generate so much pressure on that top side and not go down. And you mentioned how you were playing that Darius and that Urgot. I'm just sort of interested, into the insight, I guess, a little bit on what was going on behind these champion picks, because a lot of people, when they don't play top lane for a while, they might go towards the Ornn or, whatever, just farm it out, team fight for late. But no, you went for slightly more carry-oriented juggernauts and performed very well on them. Like we said, generating a lot of pressure. So sort of what was going through your head when you guys were picking those champions, and did you, build your team comps around that?
I think like I have a few champs I can play in every lane just in case I get filled in solo queue in general. So Darius was one of them. And like I said, like when we saw them pick Shen, we wanted to pick something that could kind of take him out of the lane. So I feel like we wanted to generate just a lot of pressure, like you guys were saying. So I was comfortable with Darius there. And then Urgot's just like kind of a comfort pick for me. They banned it the first game. I was actually looking to play it. So when they left it open the second, I kind of just said like, oh, I'll play weak side and farm on Urgot, and I knew I'd scale into late game. That's essentially what happened. So like just playing safe, avoiding ganks, and making sure I could scale in the late. So that's kind of the mindset in those 2 games.
Well, would you say your experience as a jungler has kind of impacted your position in playing topside? I mean, you have a good awareness for when the jungler per se might want to come up there and make something happen. And on top of that, your lane-to-lane matchup knowledge probably is a lot greater. So would you say that kind of experience helped out tonight, giving you that kind of oomph?
Yeah, I know, especially like jungle pathing, I have a general idea of where jungles are going to path to. So I know like the timers to look for when you're going to like kind of look out for a gank and stuff. But for the most part, like we saw Skarner on bot side first game, so I know I could play aggressive. And when we didn't, I knew not to play aggressive. And then same thing kind of with Gragas. Like I was just sitting top and farmed, and I knew like Gragas's gank opportunities because I actually main Gragas jungle. So I kind of was pretty aware of what the goal is there for that champion. So kind of just like using that, I could play around it.
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to commend you for being a Gragas main, as one fellow Gragas main to another. But second of all, I just want to ask you, when your Darius got banned out in game number 2, was that like a little bit of an ego boost? Did that feel good? That autofill top laner gets his champion banned out. It was that much of a problem game number 1.
I kind of like just laughed out as like, oh, they banned the Darius immediately, and I just thought it was funny. But like I was like, all right, hopefully they leave Urgot open, or I might be in trouble.
Well, thankfully they did, because that was a stellar performance on that as well.
Yeah, but I also want to say like I play well, but so did my team. Like we executed our game plan, and everyone else played super well as well. So it wasn't just me. Like I don't want to make it all about me. Like we played super well as a team and stuck to our game plan. So it was awesome to see the results we wanted out of that.
Hey, well, that being said, do you want to throw any shout outs to the Divine Ascension members out there?
Yeah, shout out to all. of my teammates. Shout out to Latin for kind of filling in tonight on short notice, and shout out to Colton Sin. I hope your nap was worth it tonight, because I don't really like top, but come back soon.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Mr. Saturation, the third. Is it the third, by the way, or is it 3?
It's just 3. It's like my favorite album. It's a music album, but I'll go by the 3rd. So, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
well, we don't want to pronounce it wrong. Either way, Saturation 3, the man himself, performing super, super well, even on an off roll. I want to thank you for joining us here on the desk.
Yeah, and thanks for having me here. I hope you guys have a great night.
And I hope you do well into your second set here, which will be up against Redefy Unleashed. That's definitely a breaker for y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, well, with that being said, Hawk, any last thoughts you want to throw the way of this first set here?
All I want to say is Divine Ascension, we were talking about how they might have been slumping a little bit. Well, I think those questions should be answered. They controlled this game so well. They proved that they deserve to be in that top of the table, and just an incredibly impressive win from them all around.
Absolutely. Well stated and well said there. Just to kind of bring it up to get you guys all on the same point here. Redefy Unleashed versus FSU. FSU surprising us all, taking both victories against Redefy Unleashed here tonight, which was a team that currently actually in the standings is second. So FSU putting themselves in a really great spot, securing what is that kind of 5th position here in Light League. And like we stated before, Degenerates Reform Shadowblade Slash, that kind of ended up in the 1-1, which now pushes Merciless actually out of what was going to be their playoff spot. So they're going to be fighting here on these last 3 sets to make their way into the Light League playoffs. Darkside, the team that we'll be covering next here, just 2-0'd Degenerate Esports, the best team in the league. So that's going to be incredibly exciting. You guys got to check it out. Stay tuned for what will be hopefully a really good sight on what Darkside is capable. All that being said, though, we're going to be going to a break. Stick around. Stay tuned. Degenerates Reformed versus Darkside Academy.